In this lesson, we are going to make this adorable oval flip it card, but there's even a hidden technique in here. On this green oval right here, I've used a technique that we call a die inside of a die. And it's so easy to do, but it's so fantastic. It's like making a different die that wasn't really born, but we're making it ourselves. So let me show you how to make this card. The first thing we're going to do is always cut the card base. Now we're going to use two different products. We're going to be using the Sizzix oval flip it that I designed, and we're also going to be using the 3D Thinking of You pop-up inside card. Now for this one, we're only going to use that little tiny heart right there, so just a heads up on that. So let's go ahead and open up our die. Now this set has 18 dies with it, but don't worry about the 18. We're going to mainly focus on the 3 largest dies, but we're going to use a couple of the ovals. So I'm going to go ahead and empty it all out, make sure I don't lose any of those pieces, and we're going to cut our card base. So here I have my card base. It's the largest die in the kit. I'm going to bring over my handy dandy Big Shot machine, and I'm going to grab some cardstock, and I'm going to lay this down. Now, you don't want speed bumps. Speed bumps are bad, okay? When you think of being in a parking lot, you don't want a speed bump. You don't want your car to go fast over a speed bump. This is a speed bump. My roller is inside my machine, and I have this blade right here. That's a speed bump. My roller is going to jump over that blade, and it's not going to cut. It's like going in a parking lot over a speed bump at 60 miles an hour. You're going to fly over that speed bump. We want to gradually go over that blade or gradually go over that speed bump. So what I'm going to do is ever so slightly, I'm going to skew my die so it goes at an angle into the machine. That's going to be like using my tires, one tire at a time and then the other one. It makes my husband so much happier when I'm nicer to my car. So let's be nicer to our machines and our dies. And the best part is we'll get a better cut every single time. So now I'm going to just grab a cutting pad and we'll run this through. Now people always ask me, why do you have a colored cutting pad? The main reason, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, because they're cute, but 2, so I can find it on my desk. Because you know how it is, you have all this stuff everywhere and you can't find your cutting pad because it's clear. Well now with a colored cutting pad, you know exactly where it is every time. So we're gonna run this through. Now any cracking you hear is totally normal. That's just the blade going through the cutting pad. There's so much pressure in this machine, you need to have that blade go somewhere. So now I have my cute little flip it card. We're going to put it off to the side, but I do want you to notice that the machine cut it and scored it for me in 4 spots. We're going to put that off to the side. Then we're going to get the 2 layering pieces. These are the next 2 largest pieces in the kit, and we're going to get some pattern paper. So let's get this one. This one says thanks, and this one has some cute little stripes, and this is a fun little thing what I like to do. I like to cut both at the same time. You'll notice on our card, we have 2 different colors here, 2 different patterns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut both of them because with these dies, you can cut 2 at a time. And then I can decide which ones I'm going to use. So I'm going to lay that down and run these through. Now, we don't want a speed bump, so let's move this off to the side, kind of tilt that just ever so slightly, and we're going to run that through. And now we're going to have the layers to our card. Awesome. So now, remember, I have 2 extra pieces of these layers. Now, I like to, instead of putting this in my scrap pile, what I like to do is I like to put it back in the envelope that the dies came in. That way, I have them. If I ever say, oh, I need a fast card and I don't have time to die cut, I already have the pieces cut. So now we have those pieces, and let's start putting our card together so we can see where we're at. So here we have the card. We're going to get our layer, let's turn it this way. We're going to get our layering pieces. Now, let's use this one there, and we're going to use the cute little thanks right there. So let's just add adhesive, and then I'm going to show you how to fold it. It's so easy peasy to fold. Now, there's a lot of math involved with this, and let me tell you, I am not a math girl. But we've done all of the math for you, so you don't have to do any extra cuts. You don't have to take it to a trimmer. It's all perfectly lined up for you. So all you have to do is just put it together. I always say the hardest part about a flip it card is deciding on what paper you're going to use. So we're going to lay that down. Now we're going to fold it. We're going to hold it in the air because if you folded it on the table, it wouldn't flip the inside. So we're going to hold it in the air. We want a big bottom, little top. We're going to fold it in half towards us on the score line the die created. Then we're going to take the top flap and fold that up, and then we're going to turn it to the left. The little side is always on the left, And there we have the makings of our Flip It card. Was that the easiest thing you've ever seen in your life, right? Okay, so now we're gonna put that off to the side. Now we're gonna start decorating. So we're gonna bring our machine back and we're going to die cut a couple pieces. First, we're gonna die cut an oval. Let's grab this piece. We're gonna die cut, now all these pieces come in so far in this one kit. So we're gonna grab that oval. Then we're going to grab the white for this one, and we're gonna use, let's see, let's grab this one, and then we are going to use, the green. Now this is where our fun technique comes in. We're gonna move this off to the side, and this is, let me show you this. The extended magnetic platform, look at that. It's not going anywhere, so I don't have to worry, and I have so much real estate, I can move this off to the side over here, and I can die cut a whole bunch of pieces at once. So now I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna take this oval. All of these come in the kit, but then now I'm gonna grab that little heart I was telling you about. I'm gonna pick up that heart and I'm gonna make my own shape. So now, if I just ran this through, that'd be a handy dandy oval. Great, no problem. But I'm gonna add this little heart right inside and it's gonna die cut it at the same time, which is so fantastic. So we've laid that there and now we're gonna get our cutting pad and we're gonna use the longer extended cutting pads because I'm using a lot of my platform. So I'm gonna lay that down and we're gonna run this through. So now we have a die inside of a die, so we're creating our own shape. We're gonna run all of that through. We're gonna pull this way so we can see it all. So now here we have our cute little scalloped oval. We'll put that off to the side. Here we have our die shape that we made on our own all by ourselves, which is fun. And then this one was the you and me, but it'd be really cute if we left it like that because it's in there. But we want to die cut that out. So we're gonna run it through again with that die around it. Now, here's a good tip. See how it's kind of moving, how it kind of moves by itself? Look at that. What it's doing is it's snapping to a magnet. The extended platform has lots and lots of magnets, and I used to remember the number, but there's tons in there. And they're really, really strong magnets. So it's pulling that way. That's okay. Let it go where it wants to go and then just move your paper over ever so slightly until it's exactly where you want it to be. And that looks fantastic right there. Now, we're also going to need a die cut oval out of this paper and I've already die cut that as well. So we have that over here. So we're gonna run this through and then we're gonna start to put our card together. So let's grab this and run this through. Okay, so now we have, look how it cut that out. Isn't that fantastic? Now it has an oval all the way around it. So you can leave it in or take it out. So let's move this off to the side and let's put our card together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna decorate the front. And here's a tip. Don't ever decorate the inside pieces until you have folded it. Because if you lay it flat and you haven't folded it yet, you're gonna decorate this and say, I know this is the front, I know this is the front. And then you're gonna fold it and it's gonna be the inside. And you're gonna say, oh darn, whoops. So I learned from my mistakes. I've done it many times. So always fold it. Then you know this is the front. Then you can lay it flat knowing this is the front, this is the front. And I even say that to myself a couple times. This is the front. So I'm just saying it again. This is the front. Okay, so we're going to lay this down and see how everything coordinates perfectly together. Now remember, I also cut out this little piece here, this oval. We're gonna lay that right on top. It all layers perfectly. Then we're gonna take that fun green heart green heart oval or oval heart, and let's use some foam tape to pop that up just ever so slightly, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I just like to cut off a couple little pieces, so I use this very sparingly here. So we'll just grab a couple little pieces, and we're gonna add. And I love the foam tape because then you can get the exact size that you need. Sometimes if you have the squares, they work great also, but sometimes it's nice just to have a little tiny piece if you just need a little piece. So we're gonna peel these off. Oops, there we go. Then we're gonna add this right there to the center. And that's the same oval, so it lines up perfectly. Then we're gonna decorate the inside. So we have a blue, and I've already die cut an extra blue oval, so we're using that same oval lots and lots of times. So we're adding that blue oval right there to the center. And then we're gonna add our you and me. So we're gonna add adhesive. Now, I don't want adhesive to go on my beautiful table, so I'm gonna get a piece of scratch paper and lay that down, and I'm gonna add adhesive just right there in the corners, because we definitely don't want to get adhesive on our table. And we're gonna add that right there. Look at how cute that is. And then, just to finish this card off, we want to add, and you can see on this one, we want to add just a couple little flowers with a little pearl. So I have some over here. And it just kind of finishes it off, as well as the ribbon that we're going to add. So let's peel this off. And we have our cute little flower. And let's add another little flower. And then, of course, we want to add our cute little pearl. Because, you know, you can never have too much bling. And then to finish it completely off, we're going to add a cute little bow. So we're going to grab this, tie this bow. Now, I'll be honest with you, my mom is not a crafter, but she's taught me one thing in life, and that's to tie a bow. So we're going to, she's taught me more than one thing in life, but craft-wise, that sounded really wrong. Okay, so I've just tied it right here, and normally you would go around this way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go behind my loop. So go behind your loop, and then it's going to give you a nice, pretty bow. And that's seriously all because of my mom. Okay, so we're going to trim that and trim that. And now we have our adorable heart oval flip it card. Isn't that fantastic? And so easy peasy. Everyone can make one of these. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.